From states battling crises to others where the cost of housing is 97% higher than the national average, today on Across the Globe, we'll be looking at 10 states Americans can't wait to leave. So let's get right into it. Number 10, Washington. Washington State, where the coffee is strong and the rain is frequent. Founded in 1889, this lush corner of the Pacific Northwest is famous for breathtaking mountains, lush forests, and tech giants that seem to sprout like mushrooms after a rainstorm. Yet, despite its beauty and entrepreneurial spirit, it seems that in 2024, Washington made headlines for a different reason. 1,579 wealthy households decided to pack their bags, perhaps in search of more than just a decent latte. There are many reasons this could be happening. Firstly, according to Washington Retail, Washington's adoption of a 7% capital gains tax on larger gains, combined with the highest estate tax rate in the nation, has made the state less attractive to wealthier retirees. Another reason people seemingly can't wait to get out is the high cost of living. In June 2024, the Seattle Times reported that around half of renters in the Seattle area were rent-burdened in 2022, meaning they spent more than 30% of their income on rent and utilities, and half of those renters were faring even worse, spending more than half of their income. But it can't just be about money, right? Correct. Washington is also struggling with increasing crime rates. According to Washington State House Republicans, Washington's homicide rate has increased 96% since 2019, culminating in a new state record in 2022. They also noted that aggravated assault has increased by 30% over the past 5 years and is now at its highest level in 24 years. Number 9, Minnesota. Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, though it sometimes feels like the land of 10,000 ways to freeze your fingers off, especially during winter's frosty embrace. Rich in history, it was home to Native American tribes long before European settlers arrived, and in 1849, it became a state, turning the snowscapes into a playground for Scandinavian immigrants who brought their love for dairy and passive-aggressive debate. However, in recent times, residents have politely started to rethink their loyalty to the state. In 2022, MoneyWise compiled a list of the states that people are leaving. They noted that employment was the biggest reason movers left Minnesota by a generous margin. They added that residents may also be trying to escape the high taxes and harsh winters the state is known for. In terms of tax, they quoted a Reddit user who said, "We get taxed up the wazoo. We have high income taxes, high sales taxes, and property taxes are up there too. Winter can last a few months and get pretty cold, causing potholes, which take all summer to fix." In 2024, people are still packing their bags at an accelerated rate. According to the Daily Mail, 1,784 affluent families have left Minnesota in 2024. According to NPR News, crime has actually been decreasing recently in Minnesota. They noted how the 7-county metro area experienced an 8.2% decrease in violent crime, and Greater Minnesota saw a 3.4% drop in violence compared to 2022. On top of this, carjackings declined by nearly 38%. So it seems the main issue residents have is with the tax burden. In September 2024, Star Tribune stated that the primary reason people are leaving is likely Minnesota's oppressive tax regime and hostile business climate. And according to the Nonpartisan Tax Foundation, Minnesota has the 8th highest state tax collections per capita and the 12th highest state local tax burden. Number 8, Virginia. Virginia, the Old Dominion state, is a place steeped in history from the birthplace of presidents to the hallowed grounds of Civil War battles. However, in 2023, it also became the place where residents were practicing their best "see you later" waves. After all, when the cost of living clocks in as the 26th highest nationally, even George Washington might raise an eyebrow and think about relocating to a more pocket-friendly paradise. According to the Daily Mail, in 2024, Virginia lost over 2,000 affluent families. The most commonly cited reason for people packing their bags is high housing costs in Northern Virginia. However, the housing market as a whole across the entire state is not exactly known for being cheap. In August 2024, Mansion Global stated that the tech hub growing in Northern Virginia is making an expensive housing market even worse. According to Rent Cafe, housing is 2% higher than the national average, while utilities are 3% higher. Additionally, crime is increasing in the state, with Yahoo News reporting that hate crimes are on a sharp increase. Number 7. Maryland. Maryland, the state that somehow manages to be both a charming blend of colonial history and an eternal traffic jam. From the rolling hills of its western shore to the crab-filled waters of the Chesapeake Bay, Maryland is a wonderland of scenic beauty and, let's be honest, a myriad of reasons to consider packing your suitcase. In 2022, MoneyWise reported that there were more people leaving Maryland than coming into it, with outbound moves at 52.2%. They noted that the state is notoriously expensive to live in, with pricey homes and rent costs. And while there's a strong job market, especially for aerospace and defense and federal agencies, the unemployment rate is fairly high at 5%. As of 2024, the cost of living in Maryland is 16% higher than the national average. Housing is 44% higher than the national average, and utilities are 10% higher, according to Rent Cafe. It was reported by the Daily Mail that by September 2024, Maryland had lost over 2,000 affluent families. As well as concerns around cost of living, it's safe to assume that many people have left the state or are thinking about leaving due to crime. According to SafeWise, Maryland's violent crime rate of 5.3 incidents per 1,000 people is the 8th highest in the U.S., exceeding the national violent crime rate of 4. And Maryland is the 8th most concerned state when it comes to violent crime in general and gun violence specifically. Number 6. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, is famed for its rich history featuring the Liberty Bell, Amish country, and of course, cheesesteaks. Once a crucial battleground for independence, it seems in 2023 it started to become a breeding ground for potential exit strategies, with a staggering rise to the number 4 spot for states with the most people leaving. In 2024, this trend continued. According to the Daily Mail, in 2024, Pennsylvania lost over 2,000 affluent families. However, it's not just the rich that are saying goodbye. According to Penn State University, Pennsylvania experienced an overall population decline of just over 41,000 between 2020 and 2023. In December 2023, the Commonwealth Foundation stated that, based on a study, the top 3 reasons residents were considering a move were to seek out a lower cost of living, lower taxes, and better jobs and opportunities. They noted that more than half of voters said Pennsylvania was on the wrong track. Number 5. New Jersey. New Jersey, the Garden State, is a place where the tomatoes might be juicy, but the reasons to leave can be even juicier. With a rich history dating back to its days as a battleground in the Revolutionary War, it has transformed into a hub of bustling cities, quaint towns, and more diners than you can shake a fork at. But alas, many residents find themselves eyeing the exit signs. In September 2022, MoneyWise ranked the top 10 states people are leaving. New Jersey came in at first place. They noted how this was the 4th year in a row that the Garden State held the dubious distinction of holding the highest percentage of outbound movers at 70.5%. They noted how about a third of movers said retirement was the main reason for relocating elsewhere, and New Jersey has some of the highest property taxes in the nation. According to Smart Asset, the average effective property rate in New Jersey is 2.26%, compared to the national average of 0.99%. The cost of living in New Jersey is nothing to boast about either. According to Rent Cafe, the cost of living in New Jersey is 11% higher than the national average. Housing is 30% higher than the national average, while utilities are 10% higher. New Jersey has also become prolific in recent years for its rise in illegal immigrants calling the state their home. As of 2024, there are an estimated 428,000 undocumented immigrants living in New Jersey. With these stats in mind, it's easy to see why people are still packing up and leaving in 2024. According to the Daily Mail, New Jersey has watched 3,863 high earners leave the state in 2024. Number 4. Massachusetts. Massachusetts, the land of clam chowder, spirited Red Sox fans, and a history that feels like it was scripted by a particularly dramatic playwright. Once the stage for the Salem witch trials and a cozy haven for the Founding Fathers plotting independence, this state is as rich in history as it is in snowbound winters. Yet, as picturesque as the cobblestone streets and charming lighthouses may be, it seems that many residents are keen to leave. According to MoneyWise, in 2022, outbound moves were at 57.6%, and jobs, family, and retirement were the top 3 reasons for movers abandoning. They also added that although the Bay State might be renowned for its top educational institutions and charming coastal towns, it's also one of the least affordable states to live in the U.S. In 2024, this is very much still the case. According to Rent Cafe, the cost of living in Massachusetts is 46% higher than the national average. Housing is 108% higher than the national average, while utilities are 16% higher. They added that when it comes to basic necessities such as food and clothing, groceries are around 30% higher than in the rest of the country, while clothing costs 30% higher as well. In recent years, gun violence has also become a particular concern. According to every stat, in Massachusetts, the rate of gun deaths increased 18% from 2013 to 2022 compared to a 36% increase nationwide. For these reasons, many are still fleeing the state. As reported by the Daily Mail, Massachusetts said farewell to 4,392 wealthy households by September 2024. Number 3. Illinois. Illinois, the land of Lincoln, might be best known for its iconic deep dish pizza and the language of "da Bears," but don't let the friendly faces fool you. Many residents are packed, ready to leave. In 2022, MoneyWise reported that outbound moves in Illinois were at 67.2%. They noted how the state lacks job opportunities and reached an all-time high for resignations in August 2021 during the Great Resignation. They added that to make matters worse, Kiplinger named it the least tax-friendly state for middle-class families in 2021. In 2024, people are still moving on to greener pastures. According to the Daily Mail, Illinois lost 9,292 wealthy families by September. So, what's causing the upheaval? In September 2024, Move Buddha reported that by 2022, half of Illinoisans were thinking of leaving, and most of them cited taxes as their number one reason for calling it quits. They noted that Illinois has the highest effective property tax rate in the nation, paying more compared to the value of their homes than any other state's residents. However, the overall cost of living isn't too bad, being 8% lower than the national average, so it's possible that crime is scaring people away. According to Illinois policy, residents of Chicago reported 7.6% more violent crime from July 2023 through June 2024, and experienced a 21% increase in robberies during those 12 months as well. Number 2. New York. New York, often referred to as the Empire State, a bustling beehive of ambition, skyscrapers, and the distinct smell of hot dog vendors. Once the land of the Iroquois and Haudenosaunee, it transformed in the 17th century when the Dutch decided to plant their flags and call the area New Amsterdam. Though we all know the real conquest came when pizza came to the scene. Fast forward a couple of centuries, and you have a melting pot of cultures and urban jungle where every corner is a photo op. Yet, despite the allure of Broadway and bagels, a curious phenomenon has emerged. Many denizens are putting their belongings in U-Hauls and fleeing. According to MoneyWise, New York underwent an exodus during the pandemic, with residents fleeing cramped, overcrowded apartments for more open, greener spaces. We get it. We all went a little crazy in lockdown, right? However, in 2022, outbound moves continued, jumping to 63.1%. In 2024, people are still packing up. According to the Daily Mail, by September 2024, New York saw 12,040 of its highest earners hit the road. There's no doubt about it, the state's cost of living will have played a role, and if high earners are feeling the pinch, then others will be too. Speaking of New York's loss of residents, Adirondack Almanac stated that while housing and weather are certainly part of the equation, so are New York's high taxes and cost of living. They noted that New York's taxes are the highest in the country, while its cost of living is ranked fourth. According to Rent Cafe, the cost of living in New York is 26% higher than the national average. Housing is 75% higher than the national average, and utilities are 3% higher. We also must not ignore the elephant in the room either: illegal immigration. In August 2024, Fox News reported that the New York City migrant crisis costs are now expected to exceed $5 billion in a 2-year period. According to Newsweek, a majority of New Yorkers believe that the arrival of tens of thousands of migrants to the city since April 2022 has now turned into a full-blown crisis. Number 1. California. California, the land of sun-soaked beaches, sprawling vineyards, and a casting call for every aspiring influencer, has always been a beacon of dreams and a litmus test for the American spirit. Founded during the gold rush of the mid-1800s, it transformed from a rugged frontier to the prosperous state known for its tech giants and Hollywood glitz. However, as the years rolled on, some have begun packing their sunscreen and flip-flops and ogling exits faster than you can say, "Traffic jam on the 405." In 2022, MoneyWise reported that California's outbound moves were at 59.3%. They stated that living in the Golden State can be tough for those who can't afford it, adding that California is quite expensive to live in, with the highest gasoline taxes in the nation. In 2024, many are still ditching the sun and going elsewhere. According to the Daily Mail, by September 2024, the land of Silicon Valley and Hollywood glitz waved goodbye to a net 24,670 wealthy households. In August 2024, Pods commented on the situation, stating that high rent, high taxes, high costs of living for employees, and red tape are just a few reasons cited by those exiting California. According to Rent Cafe, the cost of living in California is 38% higher than the national average. They noted that housing is 97% higher than the national average, and utilities are 24% higher. Crime is also a major concern for many residents. According to SafeWise, California's property crime rate is 25.3 incidents per 1,000 people, which is 23% higher than the nationwide rate of 20.7. They added that the violent crime rate is 4.2 incidents per 1,000 people, 6% higher than the nationwide rate of 4.0. Lastly, California's ongoing problem with illegal immigration is an issue for many residents. In October 2023, it was reported that 27% of Californians consider the situation at the U.S. border a crisis, while 37% say it is a major problem. What about the 10 fastest collapsing big cities in the United States in 2024?